This is the grave of Wyatt Earp, one of the most notorious outlaws of the Old West. His shootout at the OK Corral is a thing of legend. But how did this lawman turned criminal end up buried in Colma, California when he died in LA?
Let's rewind a bit. Wyatt Earp was born in 1848 in Illinois and then moved to Tombstone, Arizona with his brothers in 1879 to try and make it rich in the silver boom. They would end up running saloons, gambling concessions, and become lawmen, which led to fame or infamy for his role in the 1881 gunfight at the OK Corral. That 30-second shootout turned him into a Wild West icon, but what's often left out is the messy aftermath. There's a ton of crazy things that people often leave out about this shootout, but that's not what this video is about. It's about how Wyatt and his brothers faced murder charges for their part in the shootout and later embarked on a vengeance spree that would result in them fleeing to California. Wyatt would join up with Josephine in San Francisco. Again, the backstory here is crazy, but that's not the point of this video. What would happen is from 1882 to his death in 1929, Wyatt Earp would have questionable business ventures stretching from Alaska to San Diego, where he had a hand in one of my favorite brothels in the Gaslamp. Again, another story. By the early 20th century, the Wild West was fading into a myth, and Wyatt needed a new frontier. Enter Los Angeles. Earp arrived in LA in the 1920s, by which time he was more of a grizzled relic than a gunslinging legend. He lived in the city during its Prohibition era heyday, rubbing elbows with Hollywood elites and hustling as a consultant for early cowboy films. Yes, the man who once shot outlaws was now advising actors on how to look convincing while doing it. Oh, the irony. Some of those people were silent film star William S. Hart and Sid Grauman of Grauman's Chinese Theater. A couple of Wyatt's homes remain around the country. Unfortunately, the last home he would live and die in Los Angeles, which was located in West Adams on West 17th Street, is now a school. The modest bungalow would have been all that physically remains of Earp's legacy in Los Angeles. So again, how did the man who died in LA end up in Colma, specifically the Jewish section of the Hills of Eternity Cemetery? Although essentially penniless when he died, a collection of funds was gathered by friends, enough to have a proper funeral at Pierce Brothers Chapel, and according to newspapers, it was quite a colorful mix of attendees, from former outlaws and movie stars. They came from all corners of the country to pay their respects. But as far as burial, his common-law wife, Josephine, was Jewish and wanted him buried in her family plot in Colma. And that is how the outlaw who traded the OK Corral for the City of Angels ended up in Colma. Talk about a plot twist.